choice when they want to wake up, choice in when they want to eat and how they want to spend their time. Their health care will be provided by the same consistent staff that they have come to know and trust. This new home is a place that they and their family can truly call their home. So again, I want to thank Lieutenant Governor Roberts. I want to thank for asking us to host the event here. I want to thank the members of the Joint Legislative Commission. And at this time, I would like to turn the podium over to Lieutenant Governor Elizabeth Roberts. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. And let me begin by thanking the residents here at the Tuckwatton home who have welcomed us. It's a little disruptive, I'm sure, to have us here, and the staff. And I particularly want to recognize Senator Levesque, Senator Gallo, Senator Deval. But I'm going to give extra kudos to Senator Levesque, because this is not an issue that's particularly visible to a lot of people. If you've got a family member in a nursing home, you know sometimes those homes are better than others. You know what a change, what an adjustment that is for your family member, how difficult it can be. And when you listen to the story that Kevin told about how you can make this environment much more home-like, much more accommodating of, I know when you were talking about when you get up and when you go to sleep. So I have a husband who tends to be a 2:30 a.m. go to sleep kind of guy and wake up at 9:30 unless he has a meeting somewhere. I'm a 10 o'clock go to sleep, get up at 5:30 person. We have enough, I can't imagine the two of us functioning on the same schedule in a place like this. That what we're able to do as adults, we continue to be able to do as adults who are living in nursing homes. And it's really wonderful to see Tuckwatton and a number of other homes around the state really embracing this. And for Senator Levesque to take this on as an issue and make sure that government and our laws are partners and supportive of this change rather than getting in the way of this change. And Ray Rusin, who I will also introduce in a minute, here from the Department of Health, you know, the regulator, your Department of Health, which wants to make sure you're safe, can also get in the way in trying to do the right thing, and that they are partners as well. This is really a great story, and that it now has the support and commitment of the legislature and the support and commitment of our state laws to make it work, to make it more available in other parts of the state is really a great story for us to be here to tell. I chair the Long-Term Care Coordinating Council as Lieutenant Governor, and this has been an issue we have focused on at different times and made sure that we worked with the Department of Health, with the provider community, the nursing homes, and it's really great to stand here today co-hosting this with Senator Levesque, because this legislation is really important and is going to continue to make these changes more and more possible. So as I said, Senator Levesque took this issue on. It's not particularly a visible issue out in the bigger community, but he really took it on with a passion, and that's a passion he shows to almost every issue he takes on in the General Assembly. And it's really an honor to stand here and host this today and welcome him to this podium to talk in more detail about what this law is going to mean and how important it is. So once again, thank you for welcoming us into your home here today. And to all the leaders, Jim Nyberg from RIAFSA, Kathleen Kelly from the Assisted Living Association. You know, there are so many visionary leaders in long-term care in our state, and that we are partnering so effectively with the legislature, with the Department of Health, with my office. Only good things can come of that. So Senator Levesque.
Thank you, and again, I do want to thank all the residents for welcoming us into the home, into your home. I certainly want to thank my colleagues in government, Senator, Lieutenant Governor Roberts, who I served with for a number of years as senator, so my dear friend Senator Gallo and my dear friend Senator Deval. Their compassion and commitment to the ideas behind this issue certainly was part of the motivation for me to get involved in this, and certainly was part of getting it accomplished in the final analysis. When we first sat down in the commission, and perhaps when you listen to the discussion as we started out, one of the things that is, I think, at the end of a process, you kind of hope everybody's going to walk up to you and say, who didn't think that was a good idea? I mean, why was that ever a problem? All of the things you discussed, and when you think about it, you just go, who wouldn't recognize that that was a good idea? And in fact, when I sat down with this commission, every single person was committed to this. So I knew we were in trouble. Because it seems sometimes when everybody really is committed to a direction, to get it finally done is perhaps the hardest thing to accomplish. And I asked for comments to be prepared, because I have a terrible memory. And I wanted to make sure that I addressed all the folks that had a real good hand in getting this accomplished. Because believe it or not, when we started, even though we were all committed to an end, which is that where people go after they are no longer able to stay in their homes should be as close to their home as possible. And their right and their ability to maintain themselves and to have the dignity they had at their home should be our fundamental obligation. And I think all of us recognize that. And it was a question of how do we get there from where we are now. And a system that had grown up, that was committed to treatment, committed to care, but wasn't perhaps committed to recognizing the value of each individual that came into a nursing home. Perhaps not recognizing how important it was that that facility mirror as closely as possible the life they had lived before they came. And again, all the folks were committed to that vision, and especially Mr. Russo from the Department of Health spoke very eloquently about it. And there were a lot of folks who had reason to fear this change, and they were committed to it. And I wanted to particularly mention Virginia Burke of the Rhode Island Healthcare Association, because they are, and she does in fact represent some of the more traditional facilities who are apprehensive as we are going forward. And why are they all apprehensive? And this is, I think, we have cameras here. Our commitment to this area has not been what it should be. Our financial commitment to this area. And so many facilities come in and say, you make these requirements and requests, and we'd love to live up to them, but you're not committing the money that we need in order to do it. And it is wrong of us to insist upon a certain quality when we're not prepared to deliver the funds that are necessary to do it. So some of the existing facilities in particular are concerned about their ability to go forward under existing conditions, never mind as change perhaps changes the way a population is dealt with. But again, I did want to go down the list of folks who participated in the commission. People have been telling me that it was not a high visual thing. I think that was probably one of the real virtues of it, that we were able to meet, to talk freely, to discuss matters. We had the support of, I think, the administration. I see Gary Alexander, a dear friend whose commitment to this area as the head of the Secretariat, I think is well known to people within the community. Jim Nyberg, Lena Nicolella, Ann Martino, Ray Rusin, John Cage, Matt Trimble. I also want to make sure that I recognize Representative Joe McNamara, who's the chair of the House Health, Education, and Welfare Committee, who was my co-chair. And also Senator Leo Blaze, who has the peculiar ability to be so annoying that he gets things accomplished. And really, he was as committed probably to this issue as anyone, and in his own interesting fashion probably promoted it as much as anyone. So I do want to give him credit, even though half the time him and I were yelling at each other. Home is a place you haven't had to earn. That was the phrasing of Robert Frost, and I believe that. Home is something that all of us should be committed to. What our desire was in establishing this is to allow a transition from what we had created, or allowed to be created, to a vision that was much more compatible with the way people want to live and their dignity. And so it is my desire, anyway, to say that upon each advance that we make, both in philosophy and in facility, that we will be able to say in the future when somebody comes to a facility like this, welcome home.